life. Now, if I were at home at South Central in Raleigh, I would say stop right now and talk to the person next to you and give them your definition of life. And I would say take 1 minute, quickly, and give them your definition of life. I do this on a Sunday morning. But you all might not like it if I ask you to do that. But will you do it anyway? 1 minute in your group, give your definition of life to the persons closest to you. I want you to continue that particular question, because the question is not designed for just tonight. But I have another question. How have you been influenced by the people who raised you? There's two parts to this question. And what did they give you that you need to get rid of, and what did they give you need to keep? Now, some of y'all might not be able to talk. But do the best you can. What was the greatest influence in the people who raised you, and what did they give you need to get rid of, and what did they give you that you need to keep? Next question, and I want you to continue the conversation. What relationship have I developed on this earth, I'm an earthly, not your Christianity, that has meant the most to me all of my life? Which relationship that I've developed that has meant the most to me all of my life? Not the one with Christ. I'm talking about on the earth. Final question. What has been the most difficult experience I've had in my life, and how has it shaped my relationship with God? What has been the most difficult experience in my life, and how has it shaped my relationship with God? Now, those few questions that I've asked you are questions that have to be answered in order for you to answer life, in order for you to define life. Because we are shaped by our experiences, our relationships, with the way we're raised, we are shaped by our ethnicity. I started to ask you, how has being an African American shaped your life? Because that does matter. What part of the country you're raised in, that does matter. There are so many experiences that we've had and experiences we will have that's going to reveal something to us about how we see God, but it's also going to reveal to us how we see ourselves. And if you have not dealt with that yet, keep living, because it's going to come down your path. It is through adversity and prosperity that we begin to learn who we are. But yet, as we are defining life, there is an undergirding, there is power under us that helps us to keep going. And so I want you to turn with me to Psalm 139. And I want to elaborate a little bit more on what I'm saying, that in the midst of everything that you face, and however you define life, no matter what comes your way, this has to be in place. Now, I don't know how many of the people that's in Sandy's path tonight that's going to be injured, that's going to lose their lives. I don't know how many loved ones are going to lose loved ones. I don't know what buildings are going to be destroyed and what homes are going to be washed away and how many cars and all the things that are going to be affected. But if you don't know this, it's going to be difficult to get through. Psalm 139. O Lord, thou hast searched me and known me. Thou knowest my down sitting and mine uprising. Thou understandest my thought afar off. Thou compassest my path and my lying down, and art acquainted with all my ways. For there is not a word in my tongue, but lo, O Lord, thou knowest it altogether. Thou hast beset me behind and before, and laid thine hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high, I cannot attain unto it. I'd like to read that again out of NIV. O Lord, you have searched me and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you know it completely, O Lord. You hem me in, behind and before. You have laid your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty or too high for me to attain. Already the psalmist says, whatever my definition of life is, and whatever I've suffered and whatever I've prospered in, and whatever challenges I've faced, God knows who you are. Amen. You may not know who you are, but God knows. The psalmist is assured of life because he knows that whatever crazy stuff goes on in his head, whatever crazy stuff goes on in his heart, and everybody goes through some stuff. Amen. Everybody has to face the challenges of who we are and why we are here in this world and why things happen the way they happen. But at the end of the day, God, who has saved me, he saves me because he knows who I am. Sometimes we put our salvation because we don't use pianos and we take communion every Sunday and all of those kind of doctrinal things. They have their place. But salvation is in God knowing who you are. It is not just the sexual sins, and it's not just the alcohol or the drugs that we always rank so high. He knows who and what we are. The person you are that nobody knows, not your husband, not your mother, or anybody else. He does. And he saves us. You ever had that feeling sometimes you'd like to just stand up and tell the world who you are. But you know you can't. Because somebody will look down on you. Somebody will wonder how in the world could you be in the church thinking like that. But everybody in the church thinks like that. None of us are so righteous and so pure that we don't have evil in us. Not a one. Otherwise you would not need Jesus. The Bible says that we all have sinned, not just committed a sin. We all have sinned. And we'll all continue to sin. I know I shouldn't come here to say that, but you will. Because you have a fallen nature. And the fallen nature cannot help but sin every now and then. It doesn't even feel right. We'll just cuss somebody out just because we can after a while. We've been good so long, we'll look at somebody, what you looking at me for? We just got to do something. Your system don't function unless you can sin, and then you can go back and ask God to forgive you. And even when you become an elder, in fact, you're sinning more. You just got to keep it to yourself, elder. You got to act like everything all right. Before you became an elder, you just told them what was on your mind. Now you got to say, well, you know what the Bible says. And you know what you're thinking. Wouldn't it be nice if the elders they had a problem with a brother, just put him in the office, beat him. He'd straighten up then, wouldn't he? But we all have within us a need for a God that's bigger than ourselves. So many times we find ourselves confused about what life is all about. Even now, even if you're 50 years old, 60 years old, 70 years old, you're still trying to figure out, what are you doing here? What has it been all about? Everybody has doubts like that sometimes. Some point in your life, before you were convinced that God existed, you actually asked that question. After you were baptized, is this thing real? Why does it continue to haunt me? Why do I have my doubts? And God says, I know you. If you tell somebody else you doubt God, they'll chew you up. God says, I know who you are. That's why I have to save you. I have to save you because this world is too big for you. It'll overrun you. It's too much for you. But I'm not, because I created it. Oh Lord, you know me. Yeah. You search me and you know me. And no matter what questions I ask you, you could tell me anything. But God already knows the answer. He knew it before you were born. Verse 7, where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up into heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there, your hand will hold me fast. Your right hand will hold me. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me, and the light become night around me, even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day, for darkness is as light to you, for you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. You know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place. When I was woven together in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. Do you not know that God knows what your tendencies are? He knows what your weaknesses are. He knows what your strengths are. So many times we are busy into confessing sin, and we should, but we are so sin focused that we cannot live the creative life that God has given us because we're so fearful. We're afraid to live. That's why I ask you, what are some of the greatest things or worst things that ever happened? How many of you have created what God created you to create? Rodney, are you painting the painting that is inside your soul? When are you going to paint it? Now you look at his talents, you know what he has, but you have talents and abilities too. When are they going to come out? You're waiting on the elder to to the preacher or somebody else to do what God has done for you and in you before you were born.
Yes, sir. All right.
How are you going to die and take your talents and abilities back to God? You say, I would have done them, Lord, but this, but nothing. Live. If you have abundant life, go ahead and live.
Yes, sir.
Too many of us are afraid.
Yes, sir.
We're just fearful. At some point in your life, you sat and you thought about, oh, I would love to do this. I would love to go to this place. I would love to do this and I would love to do that. And the devil said, but you don't have no money. But you do have money if you have a job. It's just a matter of where you're going to put your money. It's a matter of whether you have to have a new suit, new dress, drink sodas all day, and foolishly waste the money that God has given you because you don't have enough money to do everything you want to do. Some of us will have a house that's more than sufficient. Go out and buy a house with 7 more bathrooms, 7 more everything else, gotta have a garage, and then don't make enough money, and then say, I don't have no money. You tied it up in your house. And it's not that you weren't satisfied with the house, you visited somebody else with a bigger house. Well, my car gonna cost $1,500 to get fixed, I gotta get rid of it. What are you gonna buy? A $35,000 car? Now, how much sense does that make? Think about it. God gave you vision. He gave you creativity. But the thief told you that for $500 a month, he's going to take your vision away because you're riding in a car and the other one should have been repaired. The thief is the country that you live in that's telling you all the time that you can pay for something by the month. But you are losing your vision and your creativity because of the slavery to debt.
Yes. Yes.
You buy a car, then you can't put gas in it. You buy a house, can't fix the commode. You go in the door and it's falling off the hinges. And you still got 27 years to pay for it because you took 3 more mortgages out on it. And we get bogged down that way. And when we get bogged down that way, then we start blaming the white man and the church. And we start blaming everybody. Romney can't hurt you unless you put yourself in a position to be hurt. God says, I want you to be creative. I want you to know that I know you. I remembered you before you remembered you. I'm not going to dishonor myself by leaving you out there by yourself. God is glorified by his people believing him. It wasn't based on no political party. The thief. Who stole what from you? Who stole what? Who told you that the man and the woman in the mirror, if your nose was this, or if your ears were that way, or this or that, who told you you were ugly? Who told you that? Because in today's world, many of us don't like the way we look. It's you, and it's the only you will ever be. Some of the most beautiful people on the face of the earth are ripping you off today. When they advertise on TV, they use the most beautiful people so that they can get you out of your money. That's not life abundantly. That's not overflowing. Jesus says, I came that you might have life, but you're letting somebody steal life from you. And the material goods that you keep purchasing, you think you're somebody if I lived here, or if I had that, all of those things have a place in your life. But you are alive when Jesus dictates who you are and who you're not. I may not be as handsome as a lot of other guys, but I'm more handsome than some. So I just got to take what I got. I got 4 daughters, 2 sons, 13 grandchildren, 3 great-grandchildren. I've contributed something to this life.
That's right.
When I was providing leadership at South Central and working full-time in the substance abuse field like I'm doing now, I still went to Duke, got my master's. They didn't say, you black, I'm going to give you a degree. No, I had to do my work. I had to stay up late at night, get up early in the morning. I had to forego my lunch hour because I stand for something. I stand for the person who Christ has saved and who has given life abundantly. I refuse to die without being a model for my children and my grandchildren. I refuse to do it. I'm not bowing my head to anybody or any situation. People will say, I'm going to say something that's really deep to you right now. When I had prostate cancer, you know prostate cancer changes, the major surgery changes a man's manhood. You may not know that, but I'm going to say it to you. But it has never determined my manhood. I was a man before, and I'm a man now. In fact, I'm more man now than ever before. Because of the Christ in me. Because he gave me life overflowing. Nothing can take that away from me. No one. No set of circumstances. Not that I'm all of this and all of that, but Jesus is. So I don't determine life like that. I determine life by what is it that the Lord Jesus is doing in my life. What does he want from me? And am I holding back from him? Am I dishonoring him by talking about the things I'm afraid of? I don't spend my days beating myself up because I sin. I confess my sin to God. I confess it to anybody else when I need to. And God says, I know you. And I keep going about my business. I do not hang my head walking around, woe is me. Paul said, I'm the chiefest of all sinners, and I'm the second chief. Go ahead and live. Christ died on the cross for your sins. Christ rose again for your sins, and he has no condemnation for those who are in Christ. Go ahead and live. Philippians 4. Philippians 4. Sometimes we get kind of lost in all of the losses the thief has taken from us. God says, I gave it all back to you and more. There's nothing you're going to lose that's going to take away your abundant life. Nothing. Because life comes from God, not from the things you buy.
Yes.
In Philippians chapter 4, you want to be alive? Do you really want to live? Rejoice in the Lord always. And again I say, rejoice. Let your moderation be known unto all men. The Lord is at hand. Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. Be careful for nothing, but in everything